As Christians across the country and around the world mark the start of Lent, many observers give up things like sweets or vices or bad habits. But one prominent Georgia pastor is calling for a different type of fast, and that is to not shop at Target for the next 40 days. The move is in response to the retail giant's decision to revoke its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives after President Trump ordered DEI to be removed from federal agencies and after a Supreme Court ruling related to the topic. Other Fortune 500 companies, including Amazon and Walmart and CBS News' parent company Paramount, have made similar moves. Target sales and profits slid in the fourth quarter of last year. Pastor Jamal Bryant, who is leading the charge, told our Elise Preston that these 40 days are just a start.
40 is the benchmark. It is not the finish line. And so at the end of the 40 days, we will recalibrate, see where it is that we are, send our data to the board at Target, and if they don't respond, we'll go another 40.
The pastor's calls are being received by members of his church-going community.
You're absolutely right, because Target doesn't appreciate us. Why should we give them our finances?
I totally support his fast. I am not with companies who are not inclusive of everyone. And like I said before, I totally support it. I am going to participate in it. And I was going to do it anyway before he even called for that fast.
CBS News correspondent Elise Preston joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Elise, a 24-hour economic blackout was called for last Friday. What happened there? And what does this pastor hope comes of this 40-day fast of Target?
Hey, Lindsay, so with this fast, they are really hoping that there is a message sent to the company. You have to know, or you have to think that, or excuse me, you have to remember that Black Americans have a spending power of $2 trillion in this country. So they are believing that they'll be able to make a big economic imprint on the company if people are not spending money, if people are not shopping there. And they're looking at history when they're looking at, you know, how successful this could be. This is just one of many boycotts that we have seen in the American history timeline as far as Black Americans fighting for certain things. So they're hoping that this really sends a message to Target, and they're saying that what makes America great is the diversity. Here, just take a listen to what else he had to say.
This is a direct assault on the strides that were made in the civil rights movement. Let's not forget, Atlanta, where I pastor, is the heartbeat of the movement, the home of Dr. Martin Luther King. That we're holding it what the Constitution says, that all men are created equal. And so for America to operate with a blindfold as if we are in a post-racial society is absolutely delusional.
Now, Lindsay, the pastor went on to say that when he found out that Target made a reversal on some of these policies, he was absolutely flabbergasted. And for him, it was a little painful because a lot of these policies were rolled out right after George Floyd's death.
Elise, what did he tell you a successful movement would look like, and how does he gauge success?
So he's hoping that people take part. They pointed to a petition where about 110,000 people have signed on saying that they would participate in this Target fast, not shopping at 40 days. But again, this could be just the beginning. They could go another 40 days. We don't know. But he also brought up that Montgomery bus boycott. That took place in 1955, and it lasted more than a year, about 381 days to be exact. And so Black people did not take the bus. They boycotted the system. And at the end, there was integration of the bus boycott. So that is what they're kind of looking at in taking their cues. They've asked Target to not only go back and reinstate these policies, but they're also hoping more things come out of it. The pastor pointed to having possible stands or kiosks of Target at HBCUs. They're asking for investments into Black communities across the country.
What is Target saying about all this?
About the boycott, Target has not said anything, but we've reached out to them and they have not responded. But we have reached out to them over the last couple weeks just in regards to the policy. Now, Target gave us a link to to what their policy is, which does state that they are ending certain programs that are related to DEI, but they said that they are excited to have a joyous shopping experience for all, that they would be having products in their stores from all communities, from owners and sellers of all communities, and that their employee resource groups that the company has would be for everyone.
Okay, Elise Preston, thank you.